Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our Koki Otaku. Today with us we have a very special guest. She voices Shimage or Shimaje, or however you want to say, because you know Caribbean, tomato, doesn't matter, or Kinoko Komori in My Hero Academia, Witch from Goblin Slayer, Hopp from Dragon Ball Super, Clarissa or Claris Snowflake from Sakura Wars. We're gonna have fun talking about this one. Sanae, Hououin. I can't say that last name. Or the Black Beast from Keijo. Ayane Mitahora from A Sister's All You Need, and Hanabi from Senran Kagura Shinovi Master. So please give it up for Amanda Gish.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks to you. I'm so excited ready to start a conversation. Not only speaking to a English voice actor, also fan of anime, fan of cosplay, so we'll get to that soon.
Yes.
So, and with a big lineup experience in voice acting, especially you have a lot of series that are big hits in the anime world. So it was kind of hard to choose that list, which we're going to have for tonight. But
yeah, we narrowed it down pretty good.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to get surprised. The script usually doesn't last too long, so let's see how long we can keep the script. And let's open with one of the not latest character, but one of the new characters in the last season of My Hero Academia, a anime series that I think everybody know at this point. We're talking about, gotta say, Shimage or Kinoko Komori. For those who haven't watched yet My Hero Academia, for those who have a family member who's watching My Hero Academia, haven't started watching it yet, how would you describe this series?
Oh, the series? Oh, man. It's like a better version of the American superheroes, I feel like.
Yes.
It's a better version of the American superheroes. I love the fact that they don't have superpowers, they have quirks. Mm-hmm. Because I find that so interesting and just like very entertaining, because I feel like with ours, you know, especially recently with like Marvel and even DC, they had the same formulas just over and over and over again. They're not for me. And I know there's plenty of people that enjoy it, and good for them. I love that they love it. Again, it's not for me. And so I think that's why I was a fan of this series before I was even acting in it. And it was kind of a fluke on how I got to be Kinoko. So, do you want me to go into that little fluke?
Oh why? Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm like, I'm waiting for it. Like, yes. Why?
Let me add. I've been in trouble many times on convention where we're panelists, and I said that for me, My Hero Academia, it is better than Marvel, than Avengers. The only things that My Hero Academia doesn't have the billions and millions and millions. Well, I think you can get to the billions of budget spent from movie 1 to where they are.
Exactly.
And of that budget, My Hero Academia is a series in the anime world that has make better story development, character growth, social topics. Let me not stop it there because we'll keep going. Talking about characters who always, even that new character, you'll say just a shadow in the wall, they bring a very nice story to the audience. Kinoko Komori, who is that character?
No, not yet. I want to know. Wait.
Oh, the flute.
How did you get here?
All right. So how I got there is, okay, so I think the first season had already aired, and we were recording. I don't even remember what anime was I in for. I was recording. I don't remember, but I was recording. I had a session, like a Walla session, I think. And basically they were like, oh, we need a few people to come. And there was like this cheerleading episode, I think. And it was during the cavalry battle of when the class 1A and 1B started fighting each other. And we went in to do some we did some background voices. And then like a few characters come up. And the way they do the characters, they're usually named like, oh, well, here's student 2A, 3C, blah, blah, blah. And so usually it's like, oh, how you're seated. The director would be like, all right, and you go into the box and you're going to be this character. And then after they record that bit, they call them bit roles because they don't have like a name to them. And so they just went in order. And so when I went in, this girl was up there. She was short and she had short hair. And literally, so in season 2, somebody asked her a question. She literally goes, uh-huh. And then I go and sit down. No name, no nothing. So a few more seasons go by and I get called in for a character and I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, that girl that you had a reaction for, she has a name and she's in class 1B and her quirk is mushroom. And I was like, what? And so I did a few more reactions and then I looked her up and the manga came up and I was just like, she is so cool. Oh my gosh. Like I mean, we had not, and we were still like in season 4. So I think season 5 is when she like really like came into herself and really showed out. And so I was so excited. And finally, I think it was like 2021 when I finally got to record for her. And so it's just crazy how I went in for just a background character and she ended up becoming like this really cool, student from class 1B that everyone underestimated and really got to show out. And I got to have so much fun with.
I see when you're saying that it was a fluke, because I mean, you could have had any other character who would have never been back.
Exactly. If literally she was the only one in that wall session that came back. If I had been sitting on either side of any of the other actors, I would have not have gotten her.
Oh my gosh, wow.
It was like, I'm like, well, this was meant to be. Like, she was meant to be for me. So very, very, very thankful.
It's something that really killed me about Kinoko, which is cool and creepy, is that they use biology to explain her core. And during the action, when she's on the middle of the test, it's like, oh, so she created humidity, so now her spore are, and I'm here like, no. And people are like, yeah, motion are no joke. I mean,
because at first I was like, mushroom, like what can you do with that? And I was like, oh, what can't you do with that?
Take over brains.
Yeah, and months later we had the HBO series. What's the name?
The Last of Us.
Yes.
And I hear like, yeah, so
yes, and I was like,
this core.
I was like, okay, they really need to explore some more with Kinoko because I feel like she could do some really insane things, like turn people into zombies. I'm just saying.
At least she's on the good guys' side for now.
At least she is. Yeah.
For me, I really love that character. It was surprising. As the character in the series, many people underestimated until she got in action and were like, yeah, that's no core. I mean, she was able to control the mushroom, but in real life, you need to go to a doctor and get a ton of medicine to take those things out. So here,
the lungs. when she grew mushrooms like in his lungs, and she's like, lungs feel bad.
I should have been
like, no, that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
I was here like,
oh God. I'm like, I'll stick with these. With this one, I'm good to go.
What up?
Definitely. But moving on from things that are kind of awkward, interesting, what are your series that's it's a big series, well known, very educational, not for kids. Parents always have control about this series. Talking about Goblin Slayer, where you had the role of the witch.
Very mature show. So Witch, I feel like she was one of my hardest to voice, and not the fact that her voice, because her voice is kind of my voice, but it's just like lower. but it was her speech pattern and me trying to wrap my head around why she talking like this. Because she has so many pauses in her speech pattern, and it's very confusing because like you're like, oh my gosh, are you going to finish that thought? And then she says like a few other words.
Oh wow.
So her speech pattern is very, very weird. And basically, I've come to the conclusion that, and there's a lot of other, and it's in the Wikipedia, and I don't know if it's more of like a fan realization or a true realization, but I took it as that's how I'm going to play it, is that her spell casting is so powerful. She has to be extremely careful with how she words her phrases, or she might accidentally like cast a spell on someone, or she doesn't want to curse like one of her friends.
Okay, that makes sense. That's the reason why she speaks so slowly.
Yeah,
or pause.
There's so many pauses, and she just like, even in the middle of a word, sometimes she'll just kind of like pause, and you're just like, okay.
Would you say this one is like has been the hardest character you've dubbed because of the way she speaks?
Yes, for dub purposes, absolutely, because of the way she speaks. Because I want to portray her as real as I can, but also we have to match mouth flaps. And so how I would say it, like, let's say if I was playing her like on camera or on stage, I could do it. I would pause differently because of a mouth flap, and but where maybe a certain word is versus how her mouth is opening, we don't want to mess that up, because sometimes I'll have to redo it for her. But I'm getting better with her. Like, I am. This last time I recorded her, I was very proud of myself.
I cannot remember this character when you do the spells. Does she use Latins on the language?
Yes.
Or no, I can't remember.
Yes.
So that
Matter level of
you're making me
difficulty okay.
But I don't. Yeah, because she says like inflammare when she's like
that's Latin.
Lighting her pipe, but I mean, like, I feel like her just saying that when she's talking to someone, I mean, that shows how powerful she is, because she's like, oh, you think I've wasted a spell? No, I didn't. You don't even know how powerful I am. So yeah.
Something funny about these Latin spells. So they're cool when you sit in dub. Before also are bilingual or Hispanic, we sometimes understand everything they're trying to say, and in anime it might be cool. Or there's some series, like for example, the Chill Adventure of Sabrina on Netflix. It's a dark series. That series for me was too much at one point, because
it wasn't for me. It was
strong. And the thing is, they're doing the spell, and I'm here watching in English, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm understanding everything they're saying. It's a Latin, and for me, Spanish, they're.
Oh, they don't translate they don't say the Latin.
No, because Spanish comes from Latin. The Romantic languages, which is Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, whatever, Romanian. These languages derive from Latin. So when they say these words, we're like, okay, we know, because it's pretty much the same word in Spanish, just a little bit different, but the root is the same. So, like when you were saying like inflammare, we were like, oh yeah, of course, fire.
So
that makes sense.
Oh, so what is that in Spanish? What would like inflammare be in Spanish?
Fire. Lit up, fire up. It's the flame.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because English is Germanic.
Right.
So and Spanish is Latin. So like we understand like a lot of these words, like even for example, like because I teach anatomy and physiology, even that, like it's all Latin.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's super easy for me to understand all these
Mhm.
words, but then when I'm trying to teach them to English speakers, they're having a harder time because it doesn't match what they already know.
Mhm.
So when we see this in anime, we're like, yeah, we know what this is. We understand this.
Okay.
You can go both directions. Something is like, cool, I know what you're saying. And something is like, cool. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's kind of funny. Even at church, many times the chorus, the people sing the core, they comes to me, hey Onyx, I'm singing this one, it's all in Latin, and I know it perfect. What it means? And I said, okay, don't lie, but I can tell you, speaking about X, Y, Z. So, but it's kind of cool. But in anime, also when they get dark with those spells, sometimes like, yeah, they mention something dark, so they're going all out. But
Yeah.
leaving that drama behind,
like especially a lot of anime, because Onyx did mention the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. A lot of anime that deal with the occult. Oh my gosh! Like whenever they're summoning all these demons for spells, and we're like, oh, what are you? Oh my god! Okay.
and you're like, oh wow, they're bringing the army here. It is interesting. It's kind of a fun fact. So if someday your friend, you have a Hispanic friend, you're watching this series,
Oh, yeah.
so you see that the Hispanic guy is traumatized in the background because he's understanding everything they're saying.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, it's just a fun fact, which I always share the convention. Hey guys, it's fun. Something
You're like, all right, let's light some stage right now, please. Like right now, they're summoning way too much.
Anybody with holy water here, please?
All right, let's it around. Not have even known at all, like even think, because I mean, I'm just English. That's all I know. And I wouldn't even have thought of how different that would be, like, versus like Spanish, because of the root of the word. That's so interesting.
It is. I mean, you want to dramatize? You have any bilingual friend? You want to dramatize it? Just make him watch Sabrina Cheetah Blanchard, because it's dark. It's dark, but
Especially if they're the religious.
it gets dark. And for me, I don't know what was more dark, the series or the spells, the praise they were doing, because it's three Latins. And for me, I'm like, holy cow! I know that. I know what they're saying.
We have to give you some background, Amanda. In the Hispanic community, religion is like a very big thing.
Roman Catholic, right?
Yes,
Like, very Roman
very
Catholic.
big thing.
I'm a Episcopalian, so that's close.
So, like, even if you don't consider yourself, even if you consider yourself an atheist, you, in the Spanish community, like, you've grown up around religion, so there's a certain level of respect, even for the greatest atheist. So you're like, interesting, okay.
Yeah,
You have somebody in religion, grandma, aunt, cousin. You have somebody for
absolutely, yeah.
Even that, no matter your belief, you might be shocked. Different way, but you'll be in shock. So yeah, that's why everything, which I admire English dub when they accept the challenge, because for us Spanish speaker, it's easier to say this spell. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to say this spell. I know what it means. I'm not going to say it. But for a person not Spanish fluent, I'm like, wow, they took the challenge, because it's a set. I mean, Spanish is hard. Latin, I feel like I'm not getting had the same feeling. For me, Latin is more challenging than Spanish.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn Mandarin right now, so.
I mean, well, if you learn Mandarin, it's just a step. It's a step. It's way easier.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, Chinese or Mandarin.
Yeah, my husband's family, his parents, that's what they speak. So, I'm just trying to get a base. I'm a very family-oriented person, so not being able to communicate very well with my in-laws makes me sad.
Gotcha.
Look, when you get that language down, you're going to be able to get any other language down. So.
Mandarin is very hard. I do not have it right now.
I tried Duolingo for Japanese. Al is looking at me bad, angry right now in the cell phone. Every time I open the cell phone, he's looking at me like, "What are you going to be like?" I'm like, "Yep, next."
Yeah.
But talking about next, another series full of drama, different drama, but way really drama. Talking about Dragon Ball Super.
Yay! It's a very, probably, I would say one of the biggest, or Dragon Ball, one of the biggest, I feel like, anime series like out there. Probably one of the most popular, I feel like, other than like Pokemon or Sailor Moon.
Honestly, I would say that Dragon Ball, when it came out, it was Dragon Ball Z at the time, but like when Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and Dragon Ball Z were out, it defined a generation. It brought a lot of kids.
Absolutely.
This is anime. This is a thing. It is not American cartoons. It's Japanese cartoons.
Right.
We didn't know the word for anime yet.
Japanimation. That's what I called it. But I fell in love with it.
I have family members who doesn't watch anime. Like, oh no, I don't watch anime, but they know Dragon Ball franchise from point to point, and all the non-canon, and all the video game, and all the theories, and they sit me down. They're like, oh yeah, how you don't know about this? And I hear like, bro, you're like way beyond point, but you don't watch anime. No, I don't watch anime.
Yeah,
but
I feel like with Dragon Ball, like, it's universal, because even though people don't know or watch anime, I feel like they know what Dragon Ball is. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I know. I mean, it's everywhere. You just,
go to any gym, put Dragon Ball, and all the people doing workout going to stop to watch the fight.
And my character, yes, Hopp. So I feel like I'm embracing her because she's a cat girl. She's a purple cat girl even. And this was not on purpose. Just, I already had these. So,
and they're so cool.
Thank you. They were very affordable. But one of the cool things about Hopp is I loved getting to fight Vegeta. Because, I mean, that's the epitome of like a Dragon Ball character that you get to interact with. Like, you get to interact with Vegeta and fight Vegeta. Like, not everybody can say that they can do that. And I love just being able to scream the whole time I was recording. That's literally it. And basically, the director was just like, actually, you can go more maniacal with this. And I was like, okay, let's see how loud we can get. And they're like, and let's turn this gain down just a little bit. Because I have a very large diaphragm. I can yell and I can scream. Like, I've literally had a director call me in because they were like, oh, I've heard you scream. I just need somebody to scream. I'm like, all right.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a cheerleader.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes a lot of sense.
What about us? How do you have the...
I know how to yell without hurting my voice, because it's all from the gut and it's all from the diaphragm. Don't get me wrong, my vocal cords will get tired, especially like when I would do like one piece swallow and you're screaming the entire time. And they do get tired, but for the most part, a lot of it is in from your diaphragm. And it did help that I studied opera and learning how, like, breathing techniques and that kind of stuff to just, like, force that loudness through, like, a really small opening. And that kind of just helps, like, save all of this.
Parentheses on the side, but I need to do this. So, for those who say that cheerleading is not a sport, it's not an athlete area, why they will be wrong?
They would be very wrong. Do you know how many jumps and we have to lift girls off the ground and backflips and tumbling? I took tumbling. I never got it. But I mean, you're yelling and moving and dancing at the same time. Like, that's a lot. And that helped me kind of like in musical theater too, in a way, because that's was like my dream, that's what I wanted to do. And then I kind of shifted more towards voice acting, but it's still something I can go back to when I want to start auditioning again. But I mean, let me tell you, we would run laps in cheerleading and we would have all the jump. Oh, it's a sport. It's 100% a sport.
I had to do it because, to be honest, when you said that you develop your long from cheerleading, that's the last thing crossed my mind. I'm like, whoa, wait, let's because I feel like we never done it before.
Yeah.
So how did you? I mean, you mentioned cheerleading, one of the background that helped you to grow this career, but how did you made it to the voice acting career, or why? Let's start with your story. How did you made it here?
So, I always wanted to be an actor. When I made that decision like when I was like in middle school and high school. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to study theater. Originally I wanted to go to Broadway, but the more I grew up, the more I kept watching cartoons, just like not even thinking about it because I just like realized like the shows that were like for adults I just wasn't into. Like I still liked to watch Nickelodeon. I still like to watch Cartoon Network. Like that is still what I like to do even at 18 years old. And then of course I was into like Sailor Moon and Pokemon, which is like a huge like thing in my life. But it took me a while to realize like when I was in college that wait a second, that's acting. And there was an anime called Case Closed, and it was a Funimation dub, and they were out of Dallas. And I fell in love with the voice acting in that one. And it was they very much encompassed that like noir kind of 40s feel, even though it wasn't that, but it was a murder mystery. And I love murder mysteries. Like I'm a sucker for them. And I just like started looking up who the actors were. And it was like, they reside in Dallas, Texas. And I was like, I'm like 50 miles from Dallas, like at my parents' house. Like that's not far from Dallas. And so I looked it up and sure enough, like Funimation was in Dallas. And I was like, how do I get into this? And after college, I worked for a radio station and they kind of helped. I just kind of like did a demo with them. It wasn't good. Like I didn't even write a script. I just like made up some characters and did some stuff. For anyone that's watching that wants to get into voice acting, do not do that. But anyways, I did that. And I sent it to them and I didn't even get an audition until like 2 years later. I got the audition. And I didn't get anything from the audition. And I was very upset. And so that's when I kind of realized that like the acting that I had learned for like on stage is going to be slightly different for voice. And I'm not very good at cold reading. I'm very dyslexic. And cold reading it's still to this day very hard for me. And I had to get better at just like kind of picking up something and reading it without pausing it takes me a little while to comprehend when I'm reading. And so I had to get better at that. I sought out voice acting classes like specifically for voice acting. Because even though the base like acting is still the same, there's little differences that better suit each individual outlet. Stage is going to be slightly different from on camera, which is going to be slightly different from voice. So I just needed to learn like how to do that for voice. And so I met some people. I kept taking classes, and finally one of the directors that I was in their class for ended up calling me in. And I was doing background voices, and then I got cast in a few animes that I think we're going to talk about later. So I'll pause there.
So, like, how long it took you from the moment you say, "Hey, this is the industry"?
8 years. I kept at it. I was like, "This is non-negotiable. Like, this is going to happen."
So for those who believe it can happen in 1 year, you just need to sweat it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're lucky.
8 years. Yeah. I mean, and it is something where I'm just like, maybe this is a pipe dream. Like, it's never going to happen. But I'm just like, no, like every little bit, I just like saw it coming closer and closer. I was like, I've worked too hard to like not make this happen. I spent too much money to not make this happen.
Well, it's gonna happen because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. This is gonna happen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that neurotic, but yeah, I mean, and it's just like, I am a religious person, and I don't try to like force that on anybody else, but I remember right before it happened, I used to lead worship with my dad. And we were on this team that would go to different revivals, different Episcopal revivals around the U.S. And I remember like somebody asking me if they could pray for me, or if I had anything on my mind. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just been trying to pursue this career for a long time. And I'm kind of just like, I'm very discouraged. It's been, 7 years and off and on. And I'm just like, not sure what's going to happen. Even if I'm going to can be accepted into this class that eventually made it happen. And so she prayed for me, and I basically was like, should I let this go? Do I need to move on? Literally that night, I get an email saying that I've got accepted into the class, and that was the class that made it possible for me to actually voice act with Funimation.
Wow.
So,
I mean, you'd be like, I'll take it.
Okay, cool. So it's like, I know I'm meant to use my voice. So I want to use it for good, and I want to use it to be a positive influence in this world that's just like full of just like negative and a lot of icky stuff. And I mean, I'm not going to say that like I'm going to get discouraged and I'm going to get sick, or I'm going to get, very, every once in a while. But like, if anybody ever follows me on social media, I really try to be just like as positive as I can. And I find beauty in like the smallest things, just like spending time with my dog, just little pets. I just love looking into her eyes, and just like her eyes just light up when I'm around. And I just find that beautiful. And I'm just like, well, God put you here in my life, and you just make me so happy. So
while we're talking about how you got into this world, we started talking about it backstage, and I told you, okay, pause, we got to talk about this while we're recording. And I had mentioned that I went to your website and I saw that you were cosplaying. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
Okay, so before I ever started voice acting, I had mentioned, I was a stage actor. I was doing musical theater, like professional. It wasn't enough to like, pay the bills, but I was still doing it along with other things. But because I loved like being on stage and becoming like characters, of course, naturally I would really be into cosplay. And so I really, really got into cosplay and crafting and creating these characters. So back when I started getting into cosplay, it's crazy how much it's grown, because you can just like buy the cosplays now. I don't think you could do that then, because I was very interested in it, and like I think 2007 is when I was very interested in it. And I was still getting made fun of for liking anime and being like in this world. And so the fact that like these conventions were happening and people are like, what are you doing? I was in a sorority, and I had to hide a lot of things about myself. I feel like towards the end, I was just like, I don't care what y'all think about me. I like this, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Some people thought I was weird, but I'm okay with that. I am weird. So,
what's wrong with that?
Yeah. And so finally, like, me and my sister started going, and then we just got like really into cosplay, and I got really into like cosplay groups, because that got more attention and more people wanted to take my picture if I was in like a group cosplay. But honestly, it was just so much of a creative outlet for me. Like becoming, because I started sewing everything from scratch. And then I did one competition. I probably won't ever do anymore, because I don't think cosplay should be a competition, but to each their own. and I won one competition, and I made everything from scratch, including the chainmail, like the chainmail and everything. And it was Link from Twilight Princess. Sword was made from scratch. The shield was made from scratch. The tunic, just styling the wig and ear, everything was made basically from scratch. And I won, and I got kind of burnt out because it.
Wait, tell me you have pictures of that.
Oh, I do. I think they're on my
that's
like
right.
further down on my Instagram. I do start like reposting things when they get lost, like years gone by. But
if I found them, they're going to be editing.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
How long did it take you? Because chainmail itself,
it wasn't the full tunic. It was just the parts that was going to show, and I sewed them to it.
Be smart. Work smarter, not harder. For
so
sure.
I'll probably never do chainmail again because it was the most frustrating thing. I had a friend who taught it to me, but like I would always get one messed up, and I would have to take out everything else to like redo it because it would just let me turn the wrong direction. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You were so smart about it because you're like, I don't have to do the entire thing.
I'm not doing the entire thing.
Whatever's showing, do. And that's it.
And so I did that and basically sewed it like to the tunic. So it looks like it's the full chainmail thing. Because originally I was just going to do the crochet route. Like a lot of people would get that kind of metallic and crochet it. And I think that's what a lot of people did. But my friend was like, no, I know how to chainmail and I'm going to teach you how to chainmail. And I was like, okay, so let's do this. And so I did. I think it took me 8 months to make start to finish to make Link's everything.
Wait, actor, sporger,
crafter,
gamer too?
Oh yeah.
Because you cosplay Link. Like, wait, nobody cosplay Link. Like,
yeah. I grew up watching my mom play the original Legends of Zelda, and my favorite Legend of Zelda is the Super Nintendo Link to the Past. All-time favorite. I know everyone's favorite's the 64 Ocarina of Time. I do love that one, but Link to the Past is by far my favorite Zelda game.
Link to the Past have a very core memory with me. I will tell you why. Back in the days, guys, there was something called LimeWire on the computers, and I download Link in the Past. And
Did you get a virus?
I was intelligent guy in the house, intelligent, until I wanted one of the boss area, and that boss for some reason, Amanda, I didn't want it to die. Like, why these guys not dying? And he kept trying fighting, and realized then that the virus was hiding in that level. So, fighting the boss, activate the virus, and the computer never turned on again. And that probably may find out now why the computer didn't work. I just chopped myself up, didn't say anything about the game. See that in the house.
It's why I have Macs now. Because I kept messing up my Windows computers with stuff like that. Oh man,
it was a great game. I really enjoyed. Only that I'm traumatized because I killed.
Yeah. Our Super Nintendo and all our games are still at my parents' house, so I still play those when I go back to stay with my parents. It's just I love playing like on the actual like console. So yeah, Link to the Past.
We will tell you later about a convention where we work.
Okay.
15 minutes on that, but trust me. But
okay.
Moving on to
all right.
Go ahead.
Let's move on to the first one because we're talking about her journey. So we definitely have to talk about the first anime you voiced or first major role.
Yeah. Yes.
First major role. Yeah. I should say first major role.
Tell me this one, Amanda, because I haven't seen it, but I saw a trailer, and I saw mecha, magic, waifus. What else I was missing here? Politics, Gundams. I was like, wait, what? Like everything here.
Yeah.
The wars. All of. I was missing that. Well, you had the character of Clarissa, Claris, Snowflake. So,
I was talking about something else, but okay.
Oh, yes, we'll get to that too. Well, yeah. Okay. So, So Clarissa was my first. She wasn't the leading lady, but she is a lead, and she was my first lead role. And so, I mean, that obviously like plays a huge, like, she just has a place in my heart. And she's the bookworm, and she's a magic user, and she casts spells like from her book, and I love her. I love her. And I'm usually not much into like the mech type anime. Like it's not for me. And I know people love them, but being able to like control. Okay, I do love Power Rangers, and so I felt like I was like in a Zord. So with that in mind, I was like, all right, maybe I am into mech, because I do love that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was just, she had probably the most like voice lines for me in anime, and so I'm incredibly grateful for that. And she's precious. She's so precious, and I just loved that. Completely opposite from the other witch character that casts magic that I voice. She's a little less sultry.
Definitely. I saw a trainer minutes ago before I was like doing my research. Like, wait, this sounds interesting. Like, I didn't know how to categorize this anime because I have everything together. And
yeah, I understand. And everyone keeps asking if we're going to dub the video game, and we want to, but it might not happen, unfortunately. But if enough people say something, maybe we can get them to let us dub it. I would love to dub Sakura Wars video game.
You go, guys. I mean, Amanda's not suggesting anything, but you guys want to go to the Twitter account or X and hit them? Well, I mean, we're not suggesting anything. We're not telling you guys to ask for it. We're asking you to request the developer. We're not asking you to meet and say, hey, when? We're not saying that, guys. Not saying that.
Let's just say we've seen the power of the people's voice and the gaming community in a game I am so into right now called Helldivers 2. And there is a thing as, we do have a say, at least a certain extent.
Right.
So maybe things can happen.
Never know.
Which one, Kiara? Which anime were you saying? The one
I am talking about. About an anime that's how do I put it?
A sports anime.
There we go. A sports anime. A very outlandish, campy sports anime.
I'm glad you got this one, Kiara. You got this one.
A sports anime about water and like sumo.
Physical.
Yeah. Kinda. Yeah.
Kinda. To not say anything else. How would you describe it?
Yeah. American Gladiator, but just using your body.
Right. Yeah.
You're trying to like knock them off the platform using
sumo-ish too.
What God gave you.
Well, bumper stars, so sure.
Girls using her assets to definitely bump everybody off the platform. Yes, we're talking about what Amanda said, none other than Keijo, where she has Sanae
Hououin.
There we go.
So yes, so she was basically my first like named character. I had worked on an anime before that called Sir Vamp. And that's the first one I was ever called in for. And that was kind of some background voices on that one. But she actually like was my first like name. And I was so grateful because I was a fan of Keijo. I watched the dub, but because my character doesn't come in until like I think episode 10, I think is when she so yeah, I was watching it. And then when I got called in to be a character, and I was so happy that I got to be the character. I don't know, this is going to be a spoiler, so if you don't want
Go for it. Don't worry.
Spoiler.
It's a while ago. Don't worry.
The character who actually wins and beats them. Because one of the things about my character is she uses her assets, but she also uses her boob sets. I don't know what to say.
I never thought about that. I mean, yeah, I take it. She make it official.
So she literally throws them off guard. So she has a move, and it's called Perky Pile Piper, and she uses her breasts, boobs. I don't know which one to say to sound nicer.
Well, honestly, originally I was gonna say this is a sports anime about boobs and butts.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Water.
So she
water.
Yeah. So she uses her boobs and she cranks them, and then drills into the other girls to knock them off in the platform, and ends up winning her division.
As I said, very campy. Let me talk about something real quick about this anime. Do you happen to remember the episode where they're training and they have these very outlandish exercises that they do, but one of them is like train their butt, so they're like walking with their butt?
Yes, and they're like, one.
I must say that I was very curious about that being in like an actual exercise, and I was like, can somebody actually even do that? Let me just say I tried it. Once, and I was like, huh, I think they're onto something here. You can actually do it.
Yes, that's amazing.
I'm like, I can't believe this.
Oh, I missed that.
I was just sitting one day on the floor. I was like, let me just try it. See if you can actually do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
It's weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Interesting finding. Moving on to another series. We're talking about trauma. Trauma that might eat people's life forever. Character that changed somebody's pathway from...
Yeah.
I was talking about Ayane Mitahora in Assistant All You Need. We're going to spoil her, guys, because it's one of the...
I mean, I feel like she's the character that basically like made the anime possible.
Yes.
As if that scenario had not happened, like then you wouldn't have the anime or his issues, I guess. I remember recording that, and I just felt like my heart just dropped into my stomach. I was just like, but it's like, I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. She can't help it that she didn't have feelings for him. And I wouldn't even say that she like led him on or anything. She was just kind of like hanging out, and then yeah. I personally felt bad for that one, and I was just like, I don't know. But without that, there would be no anime. So,
right. And I don't think nobody did anything wrong. Nobody.
Right. It was just an unfortunate. Yeah.
In his life, rejected during a reaction, and some moment on, he had the right position that from now on, I'm going to be inspired on little sister.
Yeah,
she was an elder sister. That's why he don't want any older sister.
Exactly, because she turned him down.
Which it is a very interesting anime because to watch yourself don't watch in the living room of the family house unless they're going to judge you. Very interesting because it's a back-to-back reference that I'm like, yeah, that's a mature reference. I got it.
Yeah.
Is this the anime you sent me the clips? Oh, okay. I thought it looked familiar, and I was like, what are you watching? Like, what is this? Like, yeah. weird.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
she
very
literally, I mean, she did help him, like, in a way. You know, she very much, like, saw someone who was broken and was nice to him and genuinely, like, saw him as a friend and loved hanging out. But you can't help it if you don't have, like, the romantic feelings for the person. So, yeah.
It was just an unfortunate event. Like, she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
wrong. Maybe he was wrong, but he was just acting on feelings, which many people act
Exactly.
on feelings, which is kind of natural.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely. Like, I don't think anybody was necessarily in the wrong in that scenario. That's just the way it happened.
And I don't think we can say the guy acted wrong because with his new position or approach to this, he became a writer, a kind of successful manga story writer.
Because of that situation. So it helped launch his career, I guess.
So last one, we're going to talk about Hanabi from Senran, Kagura, Shinovi Master.
Yeah.
How would you describe this anime series?
Girls, go boom. I don't know. So this is another one from a video game. And I feel like sometimes it's hard to create an anime from a video game. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. I feel like this one has enough of a separation that it's kind of like its own thing. But I mean, I love being and Hanabi like literally means like fire flower or firework. And so Hanabi literally like, it's just when I think, well, they all do, but when they explode, their clothes just come off.
Anime. Always.
Yeah, exactly.
Never let it down.
But I mean, like, if you exploded, would your clothes not get singed and come off?
No, don't want to find out.
But I don't know if you've ever watched The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. He does a very good job at explaining why in anime specifically the important tidbits are always protected by
Yes,
little
lights.
bits of clothes.
And lights, certain lights and stuff. So
The lighting, the hair. Yes.
and very much in Senran Kagura, lighting is everything. It covers everything that needs to be covered. So
Now I know why you say girls go boom.
let's go boom.
How would you describe Hanabi in all of this?
She's so fun and she's so clueless. So I kind of I don't know, I had kind of made her like a little bit of a valley girl. Because like when she introduced herself, she's like, the name's Hanabi. This'll be a blast. You know? Because she literally just like explodes and stuff. But yeah, she's more of just kind of like your typical like she likes to have fun, so she's a little bit clueless, I feel like. She's smart, but sometimes she just doesn't think things through all the way. But she's still a great fighter, I guess, in a way. Ninja warrior. Yeah. And I think she's adorable. I just think she's so cute. And she's I mean, yeah, I love playing all different sorts of characters. But she was almost the easiest for me because I'm a very animated person. If you haven't noticed, like in real life, I'm very big and animated, and so is she. So it was like, I'm not necessarily like exactly like her as far as like everything, but I feel like she was very close to my personality as far as just like being big and talking big and just, you know, let's just go for it and see what happens. And so very, 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 probably one of the easiest characters for me to get into and figure out.
Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today. For those who are considering joining the voice acting career, any words of advice or just life advice?
Yes. So my big thing is I don't know if anybody else has done this, but I have coined these my PPPs, and I feel like this can go for everything, and it's literally like persistence, practice, and performance. Like just all of those, especially wanting to get into like voice acting, because if I wasn't persistent, like I never would have gotten into it. So yeah, persistence is everything, and so is practice. So those are my P's advice in life.
In life, yeah, I was gonna say not only in voice acting, anything.
And you mentioned early in the podcast to value every moment present. Like, yeah, I feel like you're like the number 10 people around me saying that, so I feel like that's a great advice. Guys, Amanda, thank you so much. For those who haven't followed you yet on social media, where can they follow you?
So literally anywhere. I started doing Twitch. I don't have a good setup for that yet, because I'm just using like my phone and my PS5. I don't have like a thing yet, but I'm starting. So
what are you playing there?
Hogwarts Legacy right now. I love, and I am like towards the end of it, and I've learned all the curses.
So, which house are you?
Huh? Oh, Ravenclaw. Listen, if Luna Lovegood was anyone, that's me. I am Luna Lovegood, let me tell you. And so as soon as like I read that character, I was like, I'm a Ravenclaw. Yep. Yeah.
I don't understand the hate for that game. Wow, that was actually a really good game. There was hate for it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, your algorithm.
Okay. There was hate first because of J.K. Rowling, but then there was hate because they were like, "Oh, it's like a boring game." Like, what game are you playing? It's actually a really extensive game, which I appreciate.
It's beautiful.
I agree, it's gorgeous.
The world they created. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with it. But yeah, that's the one I'm playing right now. So. Yeah.
And I really enjoy the story, the main story happening. I'm like, yeah, that should be a movie.
Yes. Yeah. No, I want it to be like a series almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And I love the little nuances. It's like, all right, that wasn't quite the Harry Potter theme, but I see what you did there. Like,
what was
like?
No,
like,
go ahead.
The music that they did, and it's like, it's like that kind of sounds like the Harry Potter theme, but you just use the chords, but it still like goes, even though they didn't like use it. So it's just like little things like that, and it's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful game, and I love it.
Have you guys heard of this? Like, wasn't HBO going to pick up Harry Potter and like make it into like a series?
Probably like in 2026, 25 or
something
26.
like that.
Yeah, I'm still like on the fence about it, because for me, I'm like, I mean, the books are I reread the books all the time. I listen to the audiobooks. I know them backwards and forwards. The movies, I love them. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. But I love them. I grew up with them. And I just like, for me, I'm just like, no one can play Snape, but Alan Rickman.
Yes.
Like no one can play Snape but Alan Rickman. No one can play McGonagall except Maggie Smith. Like there's just like these prolific British actors that no one can play, and like Lupin and Sirius. Like, I'm sorry, Gary Oldman is Sirius Black. Like I don't know. And so I feel like I'm like, okay, this could be a good thing, because they could, if they stuck to the books with the series, I feel like they could put more of the story in there, and more of the things that like make more
the world
sense.
Building.
Wow, they could build the world better. But if they deviate from those books, I'm done. I'm like, nope.
I mean, I'll watch it anyway because it's
I mean,
Harry
I'll
Potter.
still watch it, but done.
I'll be mad about it.
Yeah, I understand, like, in movies, they cannot put all that in, but there's no excuse with television shows. You have 20 episodes. You fit a whole book into that. So I'm going to judge very harshly.
So you're streaming on Twitch. What other social media?
So let's see, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, or X. I still say Twitter.
I just like Twitter.
Yeah. And it's all Amanda Gish, Mastagish, like Master Gish, kind of like Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, but you say it cool, like Amanda Gish. That's what it means.
And if you have any problem finding Amanda's website links, just go down to the description of this video and you will find all the links right over there. Just one click over there and you're going to make it to Amanda's webpage on social media. Everything's going to be there. And because you already made it over there, please, we humbly ask you for you to subscribe, like, and share. Left on the left, thumbs up in the left. On the right, the subscribe and share to anybody who might be interested. Share your comments, any questions, suggestion, reaction. And we always join the conversation because that's when we share with people who have the same community questions or just reactions. So, Amanda, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
And we will see you guys in the next episode. Sayonara.
Bye.